Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Wednesday, January 17 days of our live spoilers and recap show that the Johnson family meal concludes with a charitable geocaching idea. Stefan Everett is confronted by Harris Michaels regarding his attack on Ava Vitali. Additionally, Everett Johnson and Stephanie Johnson describe how they met in Seattle. Wednesday, January 17's DOOA recap reveals that Xander Cook moves things into his flat. Sarah Horton watches over Xander, telling him where to place the boxes. Sarah admits to getting crazy when shopping for the baby as Xander looks at her. Sarah has a large collection of gnomes in another box. Xander remarks on how, despite their marriage, he could not have known about the gnomes. Gnomes, according to Xander, belong in gardens. Sarah retorts that their garden is non-existent. Although Steve is appreciative that Stephanie and Tripp Johnson are in Salem, he wishes Joey Johnson was present. Tripp and Stephanie are no longer children, as Stephanie tells her parents. According to Steve, they will always be seen as children. Wendy and Tripp Shin gets to the Johnson residence. When Steve cracks a joke, Wendy brings out a cherry pie. Stefan is still in the bistro, having a phone conversation with Gabby Hernandez de Mera. Gabby's leg is still fractured. Gabby feels that something is off. Stefan tells her that he simply misses her and that everything is okay. If Harris is there to apologize, Ava wants to know. Harris says he needs to know the truth because he's concerned. Harris begs for the truth from Ava. A remorseful-looking Ava looks directly into Harris' eye but remains silent. Recap of DOOL on Monday, January 17. Victoria is still asleep when Sarah checks on her. When Sarah returns, she brings Xander back to the present. Xander believes that pizza would be a better option, but Sarah offers to reheat the leftovers. Gabby doesn't think Stefan is real. Stefan's voice indicates to Gabby that something is off. According to Stefan, everything is fantastic. Gabby is now perplexed as to why Stefan is so amazing while she is rotting in jail. Ava still won't be honest with Harris. Harris halts Ava's departure. According to Harris, Ava has internalized something and is unable to return to that life on her own. Wendy offers to help and remarks that the dinner smells delicious. Kayla will take care of it. The phone rings for Stephanie. It's Everett, asking Stephanie to meet him for a snack at Brady's pub. Although she begs Everett to join her, Stephanie informs him that she is at a family dinner. Ava begs Harris to just stop gently. Harris claims he's not a cop at the moment. As Harris puts it, "I'm simply a man who genuinely loves you." Xander loudly swallows his meal and declares that he feels like a man once more. Closer to a caveman, Xander and Sarah are putting off opening the boxes. Xander begs Sarah to think about packing down all those items since he wants them to feel comfortable there. Regarding the sewing machine, Xander queries, "It is vintage." Sarah had assumed she would take up sewing. Sarah consents to requesting that Maggie Horton-Kyriakis store their two belongings. Xander concurs. Everett arrives at the Johnson home. Tripp is asked by Steve how he knows Everett. Everett gave Kayla some flowers. In addition to white wine, Everett also picked up some red. Wendy heads over to assist Kayla and Stephanie. Steve says to Everett, "I understand you saw my daughter in Seattle." In the meantime, Sarah gets some work done on unpacking. Sarah requests that Xander not examine a single box. Xander becomes intrigued. After pausing, Sarah reveals that it is her Xander box. Xander is curious to peek inside. The fact that Sarah preserves souvenirs from their time together astounds Xander as well. Sarah is urged to peek inside by Xander. She concurs. On their first excursion to the beach, there's a hat. Although it wasn't displayed, Sarah had also discovered something of Xander's that vanished. What Eva has been doing lately, according to Harris, isn't her. He just doesn't want to believe it, according to Ava. Harris responds, "No, I felt good about Ava before." He continues to see that person. Ava is trying not to cry. As Harris opens his mouth to kiss Ava, Stefan stops him. Steve informs everyone seated at the table that Everett was going to give a story about how he got to know Stephanie. Kayla also wants to hear the tale. They later discovered more commonalities, such as a PR firm they both worked for. Steve repeats to everyone seated at the table his ignorance of Stephanie's boyfriend. The Monday, January 17 Days of Our Lives recap reveals that Sarah finds their wedding picture. Fearing for her life, Sarah quickly packs everything and murmurs that she will store it all. Sarah makes eye contact. Stefan tells Ava that he must get her inside because the investigator has left them with a huge mess to clean up. Everett informs everyone that their relationship is over. Stephanie has said unequivocally that her current desires are friendship. If Everett wants more, Steve asks. Everett says he's appreciative of the friendship. Tripp suggests shifting the topic. Everyone stops and looks, shocked by the news that Tripp and Wendy have. Xander soothes his weary arms and accuses the gnomes of Sarah. Sarah works out the kink by massaging him. Sarah informs him that they will need to alternate. Xander provides guidelines for housekeeping and cooking. If Xander goes to the grocery store, Sarah will do his laundry, including his underwear. When Xander says, he puts the toilet seat down now, Sarah's mouth drops. The two kissed passionately. Ava is roughly thrown into the restaurant by Stefan. He's a freaking Neanderthal, according to Ava. It bothers Ava to be pulled around. Before Ava spoke, Stefan indicated he had to take care of something. Reportedly, Ava wasn't. Stefan believes that she was. Ava is not interested in being arrested or going to jail. Then Harris enters. Stefan has had enough. Harris claims to be an officer of the law and that he is there to warn Stefan about the recent spate of crimes in the area and the fact that he left his back door unsecured. With a mocking smile, Stefan thanks you and quickly leaves. Harris continues, saying he is also coming to see how Ava is doing since he witnessed Stefan assaulting her. Harris queries Ava about filing a police report. Stefan finds this to be absurd. Ava is assured by Harris that he can keep her safe. Stefan snatches Ava out of nowhere, dips her, and gives her a passionate kiss. Everyone is staring at their phones because of Tripp. Steve queries what they are examining. It's a scavenger quest that uses a phone app. Geocaching explained by Wendy. Steve queries the goal. Tripp advises having fun. Wendy continues by saying that it's an outdoor adventure. Stephanie has a suggestion for a charitable use of geocaching. Stephanie queries Everett over its sponsorship by The Spectator. Kayla points out that the hospital might gain as well. Everyone is becoming really animated. They only have to decide on the time. Tripp recommends February 14th. It's also the anniversary of Steve and Kayla's marriage. Tripp and Wendy have to go because he has an early shift. Tripp and Wendy are offered leftovers by Steve. Kayla tells Tripp to take care of Wendy since she truly adores her. However, Kayla seemed to be persuading herself more than Tripp. Tripp mentions Holly. According to Kayla, she is still unresponsive to touch, light, or sound. Wendy and Steve discuss Tripp. Steve already feels a great deal of affection for Wendy. Steve is overjoyed to learn that Wendy also has feelings for Tripp. Stephanie is informed by Everett that he must depart. Stephanie informs him that he prefers the dark. Stephanie also recalls Everett's persistent sleep problems. According to Everett, the coma resolved the issue. Sarah breaks up the kiss. Sarah claims they ought not to. Sarah is opposed to history being repeated. Xander wants to avoid making any mistakes. They are equally in favor of Victoria having a secure and caring household. In honor of Victoria, Sarah and Xander give it a shake. Harris says that Stefan is acknowledging that he cheated on his jailed wife. Stefan claims that Ava is fine with it. Though she still can't quite speak, Ava says, no. Ava claims that they are powerless to stop it. Life is too short not to enjoy it, according to Ava. Harris is unsure about whom to trust. Harris claims that they are worthy of one another. Harris says he hopes Ava isn't in jail when he sees her again. Following Harris' departure, Ava pushes Stefan aside. Ava is reminded by Stefan that Harris only talks. Ava is incensed that Stefan had to give her such a strong kiss. As Stefan puts it, it was a show. Stefan claims that the kiss was inadvertent and that Ava is aware of his intense love for his wife. He should not flatter himself, Ava advises. However, it was overkill. Stefan maintains that he needed to make it plausible. Harris, according to Stefan, is not Ava's friend. Stefan threatens to bury them if they approach Harris. Ava cries with annoyance as Stefan leaves. Ava then grabs a bottle and a tumbler of alcohol. Ava decides to skip the glass and guzzles the alcohol straight from the bottle. Ava chooses not to drink the alcohol through a glass, instead downing it directly from the bottle. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.